Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chima. It's been a while here. Months plus, I made a video and I posted it. So there were some things I need to fix, and All right. Today I want to talk about purpose, and I want to answer a question. And the question is, where does purpose come from? Put another way, is purpose something that is assigned to us, or is it something we uncover ourselves? Is purpose assigned, or is it discovered? Is it uncovered? As a person that talks about purpose, I often get this question, how is it possible for you to discover your purpose if you are not a believer, right? As a godless person, as a non-believer, how is it possible for you to proclaim, to say that you have a purpose for your life, or you are purpose driven, and you don't believe in God? Because the common narrative is that we were created and the Creator has a purpose for us, and for you to live that purpose, you need to connect with that Creator. So what he's saying is that we are like a divine product rolling out from a conveyor belt, and we have our purpose stamped on our essence by our cosmic manufacturer. So I want to make an attempt to answer many of us, we have been taught that purpose is something that is assigned, right? Like we are like a product rolling off from an assembling line with a predetermined purpose, right? With a predetermined purpose. And this purpose is, given to us by a God. So it means that without a belief in God, you are going to be left wandering in an existential darkness. But I disagree, because this argument, or this perspective, religious perspective of purpose, what it says is that we are designed, that we are mechanisms designed by an intelligent being. But there is no evidence to support that claim. Before I continue, I'm going to make a definition. I'm going to define purpose, and so that we understand what I'm trying to say. So when I talk about purpose, this is what I mean. Purpose is the intentional pursuit of value and meaning. Is the intentional pursuit of value and meaning in a way that it brings satisfaction, deep satisfaction to the individual, and social good to the world. So purpose is the intentional pursuit of value and meaning, which brings deep satisfaction to the individual and also social good to the world. You can put it in another way. Purpose is a conscious alignment of one's life with meaningful and valuable pursuits that brings inner fulfillment and contribute to the common group. So this is what I mean by purpose. We are going to come back to this definition of purpose. If you paid attention to the definition of purpose, you notice that it is intentional. It is an intentional pursuit. A life of purpose is intentional. Intentionality is one of the things that describes a life of purpose. Now, let us go back to answering the question whether purpose is assigned or whether it is uncovered. Now, the philosopher Jean Sartre said something famously. He said, existence precedes essence. Existence precedes essence. What does it mean? Now, imagine a craftsman, right? He designed a paper knife. Now, before he designed that paper knife, he has an intention. He has a clear idea of what this paper knife is going to be used for. So in this case, essence of this paper knife, its purpose precedes its existence. Its purpose precedes its existence because it was designed by a manufacturer, right? Now, human beings are not designs. Human beings are not a product of a designer. We came into this world and it is left for us to discover ourselves, to uncover ourselves, to give our life meaning through our experiences, through our pursuits. There have been some arguments proposed by believers, by people of faith in support of an intelligent designer. But all of these arguments have loopholes, philosophical loopholes, fallacies, that we are a product of a cosmic designer. There is no enough evidence to support that assertion. And that is why it is sensible to say that we exist, we came into this world without a predetermined purpose. And it is left for man, it is left for you and I to discover what is the pursuit, what are the projects, what are the missions that we are going to commit our life. What is the thing that we are going to commit our life that brings us a sense of meaning and satisfaction? So we don't need to wait for somebody to tell us this is what you are supposed to do. Like John Sartre said, he said, we simply are, then we must decide what we are. Man, first of all, exists, encounters himself, search up in the world, and define himself afterward. So what he's saying is that there is no cosmic manual. There is no cosmic assignment given to each and every one of us. There is no divine blueprint for your life. You need to uncover that for yourself. You need to uncover what is it that you are going to give your life to, and it gives you meaning. I agree with John Sartre, Paul, the philosopher. I believe that we humans, we exist first, then we need to discover on our own what is it that we are going to give our life to. Now, think of it as being handed a blank canvas, right? So what I'm arguing is that purpose is uncovered from our human experiences as against what religious people propose, that purpose is something that you have to get from a God, from your creator. Think of it this way. You are handed a canvas. The idea or the argument that purpose is assigned to us is saying that you are handed a canvas and you are given an instruction on what to paint, right? So you have a canvas, then you have the canvas divided in blocks. Okay, paint in block 1 red, paint in block 2 green. But the idea that purpose is something you discover, you uncover yourself through your life experiences. As you discover yourself, as you discover your interests, what is it that makes you come alive? Look, so it is that you are handed a black canvas with the painting tools, and you have to decide what you want to design based on what is coming from inside of you. Ancient philosophers, what they have tried to say about this. Aristotle proposed that the highest human good is eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or the good life. But here is what is important. Aristotle didn't believe this was assigned by God. He didn't believe that this was assigned by a God, or that you have to arrive at this good life by being a pious person, by praying to discover how to do that. However, he argued that this good life comes from cultivating virtues, and exercising reasoning. And these are fundamentally human activities. These are human activities that are independent of a belief in a God. Now let us look at intention. When we define purpose, when I define purpose, I say purpose is an intentional pursuit of meaning and value. So the question is, where does intention come from? So if purpose is intentional, if the source of purpose is intentionality, right? Where does that intentionality come from? Where is the source of intentionality? Now the answer is simple. It comes from consciousness itself. Now we are conscious beings, right? Simple. We are self-aware. This self-awareness creates the capacity for reflection, for evaluation, and choice. So we don't just experience life. We think about experiences. We ask why, we ask what, we ask about the things that matters, the things that are important to us. So this is where intentionality comes from. And this is why I argue that purpose is uncovered. It is uncovered through your experiences as you live. As you begin to reflect life, as you begin to reflect on your experiences, you begin to get this, this information, this signal, this insight, this revelation about what is important to you, about what makes you come alive, about where your energy wants to go. As you begin to get this information, you begin to know how you can build a life that is going to be meaningful and satisfactory to you. Now let us look at what Viktor Frankl said in his book. He said, everything can be taken from man but one thing, the last human freedom, the ability to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance. Now this is actually saying the same thing. It's saying that we have the freedom of choice. So we have said that intention comes from awareness. And we human beings, we are self-aware. And because we are self-aware, it means that we have the capacity for reflection. And because we have the capacity for reflection and evaluation, it means that we can discover or craft out what is it that we are going to devote our life to. Now let us look at the problem with assigned purpose, the problem with the idea that purpose is assigned. Number one is that it infantilizes. If your purpose is assigned, it means that you are not a mature agent, but an obedient child following instructions, right? If purpose is assigned to you, it means that you are not a mature agent. You are not a moral agent, a mature moral agent. You are a child following instructions. As Immanuel Kant defined, enlightenment is having the courage to use your own understanding. Assigned purpose requires abdicating this understanding. This is important. So if we believe, or the idea that purpose is assigned to us from a divine being, it hinders us as children, kids, as people that lack the capacity to make choices. And we have to just be obedient and follow instructions. Number two, it creates an existential fragility. So what happens when you no longer believe in the assigner? If your entire sense of purpose is predicated on a religious belief or a doctrine or belief in God, so what happens when you lose that faith? It means that it becomes catastrophic. This is one of the things, people that have known me. So if I talk about purpose and teach about purpose, they are often confused because all of their life the talks about purpose have been given by pastors because they believe that purpose comes from God. So if somebody like me who is godless is talking about purpose and I say that my life is purpose driven, they think that that is nonsense because purpose has to come from a God. And if I have lost my faith in God, then it means that I have lost my purpose. So this is one of the problem, right? So it creates this existential fragility where if you lose your faith in this God, then you have lost purpose, lost the capacity to live a deep and meaningful life. But that is false. If purpose emerges from your own intentional engagement with life, it is resilient. It adapts as you grow. This is important. I said purpose is fluid, it is dynamic. So if purpose emerges from your intentional engagement with life, it means that it is resilient. It adapts as you grow. So it is not just one, it's not static. Do you understand? It's not static. Somebody can find meaning and purpose and a sense of purpose in being a football player, and something happens and they lose a leg. Because they cannot play football does not mean that their life lacks meaning. Do you understand? Or they can't have a focus again. They can become coach, they can become something else, or create an academy. So purpose is fluid, and the idea that purpose is uncovered by man is in alignment with this fluidity of purpose that we uncover purpose with by our intentional engagement with life, and it adapts as we grow. Let us look at number 3 problem with the idea that purpose is assigned. It contradicts experience. We actually see people discovering and creating purpose all the time, regardless of religious belief. Right? This is true. I mean, people, we have scientists who are not believing God. They have invented cure. They discovered medicine, antibiotics. These guys were not religious. They were following their curiosity and interest. They were trying to solve a problem. They didn't require a God to tell them to go and study that, to invent this medicine. So this pursuit, the scientist who invented antibiotics, the teacher who is teaching, the entrepreneur who is creating job, creating product that is making life better. These pursuits are meaningful not because they are assigned, but because they are chosen. This is important. These pursuits are meaningful not because they were assigned, but because they are chosen. So somebody can say, well, my purpose as a medical doctor, my purpose is to heal people, and I got that from God. And somebody else can say, I chose to be a medical doctor because it gives me my life meaning and purpose, and that is how I bring healing to the world. Right? So the fact that somebody said their own was assigned to them by a divine being does not make the person that says I chose to do this thing, does not mean it's not meaningful or make it less important. I will conclude with this. Purpose is, like I've said, is an intentional pursuit of value and meaning. People can argue that you need to believe in a God, you need to have faith in God for you to discover purpose, and the fact that purpose is assigned by a creator. Like I said, I disagree with this. Purpose doesn't require, it doesn't require a faith in God. It is not a divine revelation. It is self-knowledge, combined with your experiences and action. The view that purpose is assigned by God is not just unnecessary, it is a limitation. This is important. The view that purpose is assigned by a God is a limitation. Like I've said, it assumes we are incapable of meaning making on our own, that we need a cosmic validation for our choices to matter. But that is false. You are a conscious being with the capacity for intention. You are a conscious being with the capacity for intention. You can reflect on what matters. You can choose your commitments. You can create value and meaning through your actions. This is important. You can create value and meaning through your actions. As philosopher Daniel Dennett wrote, the secret of happiness is to find something more important than you are, and you dedicate your life to it. Daniel is actually an atheist. He's one of the, philosophers I enjoy listening and reading the most. So he said, the secret of life is just find something that is more important than you are, and you dedicate your life to it. Now, notice that he didn't say something assigned to you. He said, find and dedicate. Find and dedicate. So both words are active verb. Finding means discovering. It is a process. You have to engage life. And when you find that thing, you dedicate your life. It is the dedication that brings meaning and satisfaction. So you don't need to wait for somebody to tell you this is your purpose. You have to be a pastor, you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor. You come into this life and you find what is it that you are going to focus your life in. What is the career that you are going to choose? What business are you going to do? When people are making choices on who to marry, sometimes religious people will go and pray. You don't need to do that. Because there is no one person that is assigned to you. There is no one person who is your wife. You need to make that time and find the person and make the assessment yourself. And you make the choice. Your purpose isn't hidden in the cosmos waiting to be revealed. Your purpose is not in any God. It's not hidden in any place in the universe waiting for it to be revealed. It is being forged right now in your intentional choice. In the intentional choices you make every single day. In the value you pursue. In every moment you align your life with what you find meaningful. So you take responsibility for creating purpose. So that is why, to answer this question, is purpose assigned or is it discovered? Is it crafted? My answer is purpose is discovered. It is uncovered. It is something that you create because you have the capacity to create meaning. Answer this question. And if you have another perspective or you believe that there's something that you didn't understand or something I said that is not clear, I want you to put that in the comment section and I'm going to answer that. And meanwhile, I'm going to write a blog post about this because I believe there are some things I didn't take and I didn't go into details about some other things. So I'm going to write a blog post on it. So I want you to be expectant of that blog post. It's going to be well detailed and it will bring more enlightenment on this and it will empower you to live a life of purpose and meaning.